Hey guys, it's Scott with Scottie B Cards. In this video, I want to talk about the all-time Shohei Ohtani baseball card sale that just happened. All right, so there have been some massive Ohtani sales recently. Basically, in September, we had the all-time Ohtani baseball card sale. And then recently, we had the all-time baseball card Ohtani sale, I think 2 days ago on Goldin Premier. It was Goldin Premier or just Goldin Auctions. I never get them straight. But either way, on Goldin, they actually auctioned off probably 10 to 20 different Ohtani rookie autographs. I want to highlight some of them in this particular video. I want to talk about which ones I thought were interesting and kind of like what their price points were compared to comps. And if they're up, down, or flat over the last 12 months. Believe it or not, some are basically flat or slightly down, even after the World Series, which is crazy. But I do want to talk about the fact there were all-time sales. And to start off, we actually can talk about this right here. Not just the all-time Ohtani baseball sale. This is the all-time most expensive sale of a baseball, of any type of sporting ball from any sport whatsoever. This was his 50-50 home run ball, went for $4.4 million. For reference, Aaron Judge's 62nd home run AL record home run ball went for $1.5 million, and this went for almost 3 times that. So it just shows how powerful Ohtani's market is, how elusive that 50-50 club was, and how impactful he is for Major League Baseball in the world. And so went for $4.4 million. But on top of that, in September, we saw this sale. This was for his 2018 Topps Chrome Sapphire autograph, went for $336,000. Topps Chrome Sapphire is kind of interesting. A lot of people don't know about it, but it's a great image. It was actually like a box set of like 250 cards, and then you had like 3 autographs included. You can pull, I don't know if you still can, but you could have pulled, Ohtani autograph out of that. This is the superfractor from that particular set. But that was broken just a couple days ago, and that was on November 3rd. But this was the Ohtani Bowman Chrome autograph orange BGS 10 black label. So this black label went for over $500,000, $533,000, which is pretty crazy when you realize that there's 25 other hitting and there's 25 other pitching, but this is the Pop 1 black label. There are reds out of 5 that would all go for more than this. I would guess the 5 hitting and the 5 pitching would all go for $1 million. And it makes you wonder what the superfractor of the hitting and the pitching Bowman Chrome autographs would be. I would guess they would get to $10 million, to be fully transparent. The Mike Trout didn't have like the World Series just happened, where he's a World Series winner plus a 3-time MVP winner like Ohtani is. Trout and Ohtani are both 3-time MVP winners, but Ohtani now has that World Series, and it feels like he's gaining momentum with him pitching next year, where Trout didn't quite have that same feel. Either way, that Mike Trout's went for about $4 million, so it's kind of safe to bet that Ohtani would crush that sale in today's market, which may be the most expensive modern sports card ever, which is pretty crazy. But I want to compare that orange sale to some other orange sales that happened recently. Here we can see the pitching pose and the hitting pose, right? But we can see the pitching, last one went for in a BGS 9.5, $130,000. Before that, we had the 2 jersey numbers. Jersey numbers have a premium because Ohtani's number 17 is his card number 17 out of 25. For the pitching and the hitting, they both went for $200,000 respectively. These cards, the hitting is more expensive than the pitching, yes, but not as much as you'd expect, because the pitching technically came out first before the hitting, and sometimes people like the pitching because that's what makes him special. Yes, he's a great hitter, but he also pitches. So some people prefer that card. Some people prefer the hitting. I probably prefer the hitting if I had to pick one. Either way, they both go for a ton of money. We can see last year that they were basically $50,000 to $70,000 for the pitching and the hitting, and now we just saw one go for a ton of money because of the grade. It's also interesting, these are the most expensive Ohtani sales ever. Again, in September, we had the Topps Chrome Sapphire Superfractor go for $336,000. But before that, they were just red out of 5 Bowman Chrome autographs. As late as May of 2023, that was $276,000. Again, I would guess that's probably $1 million if I had to put a guess about what that value would be. But that's not the only card I want to talk about in this auction. There was also a couple others, and this one was intriguing to me. This was his blue Bowman Chrome autograph PSA 10. You can tell this autograph on this card is not perfect, but it's still a PSA 10, and I don't think that autograph hurt it that much. And the reason I say that is because there were recent sales of the pitching right here on September 30th for $27,000. You'll see this outlier hitting Bowman Chrome autograph. That's because it was also the jersey number, which gives it a premium. Before that, in September again, the hitting was $28,000 in a PSA 10. In September 2nd, the pitching was $26,000. In July 13th, the pitching was $31,000. It doesn't really stop there though, because over the last 2 years, let's say the last 18 months, even as early as like August of 2023, his hitting blue PSA 10 was $29,000 and his pitching was $30,000. So these cards have basically been flat for a year to 2 years at this point, which is intriguing, but I think it goes back to the fact that this has been identified, the Bowman Chrome autograph, as the card to collect. And because it's the card to collect, people have been paying a premium and kind of having a third MVP baked in, potentially having going to the Dodgers World Series hopes baked in. And now that it's happened and those are happening or in the offseason, they've kind of gotten flat, which is interesting. I also want to talk about this card. This is a card that is not flat. This is the Topps Chrome Gold Refractor Autograph. This is a True Gem Plus, went for basically $22,000. Before that, we can go back to October. It went for $23,000 before the World Series. And then in September, one of these cards went for only $14,000. August, $14,000. August, $15,000. And then even March heading into the season was $18,000. And then January 2024, it was $14,000. So basically like a $10,000 to $15,000 card. And now we are seeing it go past $20,000 for the first time on the last two sales in October and November. Very interesting because we saw the blue Bowman Chrome autograph be flat, but we're seeing like a secondary autograph of Topps Chrome, which is a great set. Topps Chrome Gold autographs go for $21,000 to $22,000 for this particular card, which is up big compared to that blue. And then we can even see this is another card that was interesting. This is his Finest Gold autograph. Finest used to be the premier set, the set everybody wanted back in the 90s and even some other times like the early 2010s. Finest was a fantastic set, but now it doesn't really have the same prestige. Ohtani does have a mystery redemption autograph out of 99 of him pitching, but this is his hitting and it has a great autograph out of 50, went for $8,200. The last BGS 9.5 sales of this card, there was one in August of 2023 for $9,800, one in August again of 2023 for $8,700, and even May of 2023 for $7,200. So we're only up $1,000 since May of 2023, basically flat, and that's probably because his set isn't as sought after. We're seeing like the Topps Chrome sets, who are premier sets, really start to move up, and we saw some big growth there, but not so much with these secondary sets. Here's an interesting card I wanted to point out. This is a card that probably was slept on a little bit. We're seeing the value of that now in real time. This was his Bowman Chrome autograph image variation. Only 25 of these, no parallels. This one went for $44,000 for BGS 9. We did recently have a BGS 9.5 sale for $54,000, but we saw last August it was only $36,000 for a BGS 9.5, and now we're seeing $43,000 for a BGS 9. So we saw a big movement on this card. It's his best image variation autograph in my opinion, and it's on card, and the great thing is it's from his Bowman Chrome set, so it's like his true, everybody wants the Bowman Chrome. That's why we saw this card go up. So this kind of proves it does really matter what card you buy. You can't just buy everything, expect them to go up all the time, but certain cards are going to go up all the time, essentially. This card's interesting. I thought this was fun. This is a Topps Chrome Orange. There's been a debate for Topps Chrome Update versus Topps Chrome. In the past, I've liked both. I now lean heavily to the Topps Chrome side versus the Topps Chrome Update because this Topps Chrome came out earlier, but this Orange PSA 10 went for $10,000, and this is pretty cool. It was $750 in 2021, $4,500 in 2022. Later in 22, it was $6,000, and then in September of this year, $8,800 all the way up to $10,100. I think it's cool to see this, that constant steady growth. Pretty cool. And I think that's just because we're accepting Topps Chrome as the card versus Topps Chrome Update. The whole hobby feels to have gone that route. And then this is the last card I want to talk about. This is a beautiful RPA rookie patch autograph from Topps Dynasty. If you don't know how Topps Dynasty works, basically Ohtani had 7 different base cards in Topps Dynasty. The highest numbered is out of 10. So each of them is numbered to 10. There's a out of 5 version, which this is, and a 1 of 1 version. So there's 7 cards out of 10, 7 cards out of 5, and then 7 1 of 1s with different images of Ohtani. So this is the out of 5, and it went for $21,000 with a really great patch. Dynasty is moving up, and I want to show you some crazy sales. Here's one from last October. This was his 1 of 1. One of the 1 of 1s, it was the laundry tag. Only went for $24,000. So we're seeing this out of 5 start to get close to that price. This card's worth a lot more than that now, just in a year. Probably a $50,000 to $100,000 card at this point. I think it's $100,000 on eBay right now. But we also saw some other low sales. Like here's one from June for $10,000. Not as good of a patch, but this is still probably a $15,000 to $20,000 card right here compared to where it was just a few months ago. And then we even can see in 2022 the 1 of 1 duel with Ichiro, where Ichiro's not a rookie obviously, but Ohtani was a rookie from 2018 with nice patches. 1 of 1 that went for $11,000, and you would anticipate that would go for more. And just some other sales. I'm not going to go too deep over these, but I do want to point this one out in particular. September of last year, a better patch out of 5 went for $11,000, while this card is now $21,000. Here's another out of 5 patch for $14,000. So Dynasty has seen some movement up, which is good, right? It's one of those sets where I was saying it is a premier set, but it wasn't the highest. And so now we're seeing those movements. So my thoughts, I did not do in-depth research, but if you'd like me to see an in-depth research video on like what's gone up, what stayed flat, I'd be happy to. But it looks like the best cards of the best players are primed to go insane. And Ohtani is the best player in Major League Baseball right now. Going to be one of the best players, if not the best player in baseball history when it's all said and done. And because of that, the high end, like that black label orange or the one of ones that we haven't seen in a long time, those are going to go for crazy money that I can't even imagine paying for a baseball card. But people are going to invest in those. But more common cards of premier sets that were already high, kind of like those blue Bowman Chrome autographs, seem to be kind of flatlining, and they aren't really moving because they were already so expensive. The speculation, the third MVP, maybe even a World Series is already baked in. So those are kind of flat. But we're seeing brands like Topps Chrome and Topps Dynasty that were like premier sets that were valued lower because people weren't speculating as much. Maybe there weren't as many buyers at the time. Those are moving up. And that makes sense to me because they should not have been as low as they were in comparison to like the out of 150 blue, because there's a hitting and a pitching, so up to like 300 of those and a lot of PSA 10s. But these more rare, like the golds and the out of 5s, they're starting to see a lot of movement up. But the third tier brands, kind of like that Topps Finest, great set. I love Topps Finest, but it's not close to Premier anymore, unfortunately. Or even like the super short prints from Flagship or parallels out of Flagship outside of like maybe the Black or the Independence Day. Those are flat year over year, maybe even slightly down because Ohtani's cards were expensive to start and people want to get into them. That's what they can afford. So interesting to see. I would be happy to do another video on this if you would like me to. Just let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to see that. But I wanted to highlight the most expensive sales basically of any memorabilia ever with that baseball, for any baseball, sporting ball, and then also Ohtani's most expensive sale now that he's the most popular baseball player in the world. But other than that, thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.